to our mayor, to our city treasurer, to our clerk in our absence, our city attorney, chief of staff, to our chief judge of the 34th District Court, administrative staff here in the council chambers. Today is Monday, April 13th, and this is the City of Romulus City Council Special Meeting Study Session. This meeting is to discuss the proposed 26-27 fiscal year city budgets for the 34th District Court and Romulus Public Library. At this time, we'll have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo.
Here.
Councilman Bullock.
Here.
Councilman Jones.
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe.
Here.
Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
And Councilman Wilhite.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum for tonight's special meeting.
Thank you.
The special meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, roll call. 2, agenda. 3, discussion, the proposed fiscal year 26-27 city budgets, 34th District Court and Romulus Public Library. Number 4 is public comment. And number 5 is adjournment. And a motion will be in order to accept tonight's special meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Been motion by Mr. Jones, supported by Ms. Roscoe for the approval of the special meeting agenda. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wilhite?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. We are now in discussion. To start off the discussion will be the presentation of their proposed 26-27 fiscal year budget, the 34th District Court.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
You can tell you used to work for us, Jerry, I recognize you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna make it really, I think I'm gonna make it really quick tonight. Short numbers. Our budget went up 7.1%, our caseload went up 7.9%, which is good. Mayor and I have been talking about ever since COVID, actually, when are the numbers going up, and they're trending that way. So the 7.1% increase translates to just under $275,000. And the two big items we've got are about $250,000. That's our MERS, dental, the stuff that we have no control of. Your MERS probably did the same thing. Ours went up 8.9% this year. And then wages and salaries, we're gonna have to hire some bodies and we're gonna give raises again this year. So that's 250 to 274, 275. So I got all my team here. If you got any detailed detailed questions about the numbers, we got them. But the big, the 30,000 foot overview is caseload's up and the budget's up less than the caseload is. And this year, we're on track to spend less than the budget by 135,000. So we underspent last year's budget. We'll probably underspend this year's.
I'm sorry, you said underspend 35,000?
Yeah, 135, under budget. Which is pretty much, the average. We're a little bigger than normal. But if you have, like I said, if you have any specific questions, the numbers people are behind you, I'm the big picture guy.
Thank you.
Madam
Any-
Chair, if I
Mr.
could,
Wadsworth?
Chair, Judge, so you're saying that we're turning more revenue in than we had in the past?
Yeah, because part of that 7.9% increase is everything. That's across the board.
Okay.
And really, the only thing we make money on is traffic tickets.
Yeah.
We don't make money on felonies or misdemeanors. We certainly don't make much money on the civil cases. That's just a filing fee.
Okay, fine.
And Mr. Greco can tell you, he's seeing more traffic stuff lately.
Thank you.
Not just Romulus.
Okay. Can you,
Yeah.
Mark?
I got a couple questions. How you doing?
Good.
I'm a freshman at this, so
Yeah.
I was looking through this that you sent through us, and the direct city of Romulus funding. It doesn't say anything on here where it went, or there was $455,000 that came from the city. Could you explain that to me? I don't understand this.
Yeah, you guys are responsible for all our operating expenses.
Right.
Bottom line.
So
If we didn't bring in $1, you'd have to pay the whole thing because you're our host community.
I get that. So, but where does that money go? And as it drops down into the rest of the, I'm getting choked up here.
Let me answer that.
Okay,
So
Carry forward is our outside account.
okay.
So this direct city funding is when we were really struggling and we didn't have enough money coming in to cover our invoicing. And the city of Romulus had to send money over to us to cover our expenditures. That is no longer necessary. That was only briefly happening during fiscal year June 30th, 2024. And now we're trending back upwards, so that's not an issue anymore.
So at
That
this.
line is still there because there's still a number in the fiscal year ending '24.
Okay, so it doesn't, so you're not getting anything direct city funding at this point?
That represents checks that came over from the city of Romulus. That no longer happens. What we're doing is holding back what we need to pay our expenditures from money we are giving to city of Romulus.
Okay. All right, so then on that same line, you have 262,721. That was in 2024, correct?
Yes.
So from right now,
That has not been a requirement any longer.
so.
And I do not expect it to be as we are trending upwards, so
Not unless we have a major,
I shouldn't say that out
have
loud.
another COVID.
Right, all right, so my other question was, how many people do you have working at the court?
What's total? 42.
42. Okay, and then my other question was the fringe benefits, it doesn't really say what it is. Could you explain that to me?
None of your business? The bottom line.
Well, the biggest part of that is the MERS. Our MERS is at 48.44%, so, and we have no control over that. That's
You
determined by the.
guys aren't
actuaries.
controllable to give our people.
Well, I get that, but, and the, don't get pissed off or
No, I'm
nothing.
not, I'm just.
But it's like,
I'm a big picture guy.
Yeah, but
The
you got-
details aren't on the table tonight. This is not a line item budget.
Well, I'm
You
just
approve the budget.
trying to learn this, Brian,
No, I understand that, Mark, but either the council approves the number or you don't. You don't get to tell us how we spend that number. You just approve the number.
Well, and I didn't know that you'd get hostile on this, but I'm just saying that,
Some people take my bluntness for hostility.
we're all supposed to be working together here for a common good here. We got the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial
I
branch.
had seventh grade too.
Yeah, well, and I'm just saying that, I'm just asking questions because I'm new
And
at
I'm just
this.
answering them.
And none of your business?
That's the bottom line. That's the big picture. The details of what we spend our money on is not this body's purview. You guys we're not a department head. This isn't the building department where you get to say, no, 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 no. All you get to do is say yes or no to the bottom line we're asking for. That's the only thing you can do is say yes or no.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll close that out.
Thank you, representatives of 34th District Court and Judge Oakley. So next, under discussion will be the proposed fiscal year 26-27 city budget for the Romulus Public Library.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Patty Braden, Library Director, and I'm kind of walk you through a little bit about our budget for next year. If you recall, we had a study session on January 12th, where we went through the situation that happened to the library with the penal fines going away. That resulted in a reduction of our revenues of about 22%, which is huge. So what we had requested at the time was that council approve a 1 mil levy that's up from 0.7 mil. And so that is what the budget that I prepared for you includes. There's a couple other things I wanted to mention with regard to our revenues. There's one item that has been added, that's the qualified heavy equipment rental, PPT. We never had that before, so now we're getting a little bit of income from that. Don't ask me what it is, Maria can probably answer that. And then just wanted to point out that our state aid revenues are up slightly, which is good news for us. We are not expecting any penal fine revenues whatsoever. We did not get our penal fine check for 2025, which normally comes around August or September. I have been in contact with other libraries about their penal fines, and none of the libraries who had a reduction in their revenues because of penal fines got their penal fine check, so it's not just us. That was slated to be approximately $37,000 or $38,000 that we did not get. So I don't expect to get it this year either. We have had no communication with Wayne County on this at all, so we don't know what's going on. And our plan is to meet with Attorney Greco soon to talk about next steps.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Patty.
Our plan is to meet with Attorney Greco
Okay.
to discuss future plans for that, how we should move forward, if at all. But it does include, our budget does include the 20% auditor recommended fund balance, so that's good, we're very close to that. We try to stay within 17 to 20%, and we're right about 20% for our fund balance with this budget, so that's good. There's, on the expenditure side, there's a couple of accounts that went up, just as the judge mentioned, that are beyond our control. Utilities always go up, healthcare went up quite a bit, our payments for city services and a few other things went up. But basically, everything is on track. There were a couple accounts this year that went down for various reasons, just slightly, but, you know, down is down. We're back on track with our public computer replacement plan. We had to put that on pause last year due to the downfall in revenues. We also plan to apply for available grants and stipends this year again. Some of those were not available. For example, from the Library of Michigan, they halted their available grants and stipends last year, but this year they brought them back, so we plan to apply for those. Any questions?
Any questions, Council?
I have a question.
Oh, okay, Mark.
So when we talked earlier, and we talked about, are you putting, you say you have some in the fund balance? Are
Yeah, if you look at the bottom line there, our fund balance comes out with this budget at $244,100, which is just about 20% of expenditures, which is the auditor recommended amount.
Okay, and my other question, you know, we had the discussion and we talked about, Huron Township, they represent 30% of the people that come to the library?
No, not that much. No, their population is much less than Romulus, and I would say about 18 or 19% of that population is from here.
Trying to find it in my notes, because we were talking about that. And you know what my problem is? My problem is, you know, they pay 30,000, they don't, you know, and then it comes down to you're asking me to ask the taxpayers, what about, have you looked into anything with them? And to see?
We have a meeting planned to meet with them again. We usually meet with them about once a year, and we're planning on meeting with them in May, as soon as we can get on their schedule.
Through the chair.
Mayor?
Just to clarify, I think you guys were off on it. I think you were asking what is the percentage of patrons we have for our library that are from Huron?
Yes.
Where I've heard that number before was right around 30%, not based on their population, but
Yes.
if I'm correct, about
Yeah,
30% of the people who attend your library are from Huron, or is that an incorrect number?
No, it's about 18 or 19%.
18 to 19%, gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Madam Chairman,
Mr. Wadsworth?
if I can, to the chair, Huron Township has been part of the library since it was first made back in 1970. And any income we get from them, and we've gone back and forth when I was there, and we argued about how much they should or shouldn't pay, but they do pay, and they've got a right to use the library.
Yeah, they agreed this year to an additional 5%.
Well, that's good, I'm glad to hear that.
Not much, but at least it's going up. And they know the situation with the discussed it with them.
And the only thing that I'm saying
Through the
though,
chair?
oh, sorry, through the chair, I put up my finger.
Oh, I didn't see you.
I wasn't
My hand was
quite-
over there.
Madam Chairman, I wasn't quite done.
Oh, you,
Oh.
wait a minute. You all out of stuff. Go
Go
ahead.
back to the chair again. On the matter of what they pay, it's an advantage for us because I don't believe that they use as much as they pay. That's an opinion of mine. I'm done.
Okay. Mr. Wellhite,
Through the chair.
thank you.
My only question is, you're asking us to go to the taxpayers of Romulus for 0.3 to get it up to a 1 mil from 0.7?
Correct.
And I guess my question is why isn't anything done any more done with them? You want me to ask the taxpayers as a rookie freshman city councilman, you want me to tell them that I'm upping their taxes and it's minimal, and I get that, it's
Yeah,
minimal.
It's like $14 a year.
Yeah, well,
Madam Chairman.
but it's a situation where it doesn't seem like we're getting a fair end of the deal with.
I agree. All I can say is we're working on it. We're going to meet with them again in May, and hopefully we can make some more headway.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Wadsworth?
If I can, back to the chair. We were given the right to do this without a vote of the people when we went from a Wayne County library to a municipal library. And when it first was brought up, because I was there, we were told that we could go up to 1 mil
Correct.
without the request of the taxpayers. And that's what we're doing. Okay.
That is correct.
Thank you, Mr. Wadsworth. Anybody other comments? Okay. Anything- Mr.
I
Wadsworth?
guess I should have finished my thought. If we want to go above 1 mil, then we have to go to the taxpayers.
Right.
Okay? I'm done.
Through the chair.
Mr. Wade?
I understand, go ahead, was it me or him?
No, you.
I understand that we can levy up to a 1 mil for the library. I'm just saying that, the way that things are coming out, looking at this, I'm just saying that if Huron Township is a part of it, I want them to pay their fair share, but I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing by going to the taxpayers that may not even be using the library, and we're gonna up their taxes because of, we got money from the county and we used it up, and I have a problem with voting to up the mills.
Did you have something, Mr. Jones?
Okay, we could go up to 1 mil, and we're at 7.7 right now, right? So if we have to go up 1 mil, my question is, how do we explain to the taxpayers, okay, we're going up this 0.3%, but is that fair to the taxpayer, even though we don't have to say nothing to them? But shouldn't we be able to explain exactly, we know Huron has a part of it, but we got to be able to tell the taxpayers, because first thing they go say, well, what about Huron? Why we got to go up 3%? Even though, and me personally, I don't accept the fact, well, I really don't have to tell you anything. And coming, for us to say that doesn't really.
I understand. It's frustrating for us as well. And, as I said, we're going to meet with Huron, we're going to do our best. They have a new supervisor that just started there last year, or November, I guess, of the year before. So she hasn't even been there a year and a half. And so there was a bit of a learning curve for that. A couple of things that we can let the taxpayers know. One thing is The library has not requested an increase in the levy for 9 years. So we've been running on the same amount for 9 years. That's a long time. Before that, council was generous enough to increase it, I think, 3 times in about 8 years, just to keep us going and to be able to handle the increased costs that we have to pay. We lost 22% of our revenues. If we don't make that up somehow, we're going to have to change what we do. We're going to have to close the doors. We're going to have to change our hours. We're going to have to lay off staff. We're going to, we'd have to make choices like that that are very difficult, and I think that would be a disadvantage to the residents. And I don't want to do that to them.
Through the chair.
Ms. Abdo?
I think what people have to realize is that most of this mess is caused by the county when they screwed up our penal fines.
Yes.
If that hadn't been screwed up and we're not getting them now, we wouldn't be in this position. So hopefully when Patty meets with our lawyer, we're going to figure something out. They haven't even been paying the penal fines to them. They gave us a huge bill and they screwed. We've asked them to have an outside auditor, and the county hasn't moved on it at all. So it isn't that we're trying not to do something, but if it hadn't been for the penal fine mess, we wouldn't be here asking this.
Okay, I have something else.
Oh, okay. Mr. Wilhite?
Did you have something?
You're way more important. Go right ahead. I'll go next.
No, you go ahead.
No,
if
I'm
you want.
serious. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
All right, and coming with, so in the past 9 years, you've been getting more money from the county than you got prior to that, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so, and that's one of the reasons why you never had to go up, is because you were getting more money for the county.
That's part of the
So,
reason.
was any of that money put in a rainy day fund, or was it
Yes.
smoke them if you got them, and spend it as you get it?
No, we maintained a good fund balance throughout that whole time.
Okay.
We used some of the money to renovate the library, which people were asking for. They wanted study rooms, they wanted expanded meeting room space, they wanted a nice place to come where they can sit and relax and read and work and play. And so we were able to do some upgrades with some of that money.
So before you got the money from the county, how much did it go up? I mean, you got it?
It depends on the year.
What did you get prior to the getting more? You were getting like
It depends
35
on
or?
the year. We generally would budget between $200,000 and $225,000 a year from them. Sometimes we get more than that, but it depends on the year.
Okay.
Stacy?
Thank you. So if council decides to support that increase, I do want to say I'm 100% on board with communication, because our department gets the phone calls and our taxpayers are due an explanation. I don't know how much I would get into the, with the Wayne County thing, but at the end of the day, we could talk about the services and what the library does provide, because there is a lot of benefit to that. But in no way, shape, or form would I not share that with our residents, because they're entitled to that. Thank you.
And, yeah, and I agree. Just for the record, our library is an essential part of this community. I'm just saying. And then secondly, I hear you, Mark, about, some people don't utilize it, they increase their tax and they don't utilize it. They can. It's a lot of people, I used to go in that library all the time. It was stuff, I didn't have a computer at home. I had to go to the library to get stuff done. I see kids in there doing their schoolwork in the library. We have seen Patty come before us year after year after year after year, and we show our support for the library. Great job, Patty. Good job, Patty. Thanks for what you're doing, Patty. Year after year after year after year. And for us to have to maybe explain $16 or whatever that is, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. We all know what we went through before with the library. We all know. And everybody don't have to use the library like some people do. I see them kids in the library doing schoolwork, homework. I see the little kids with the programs that's going on, and all the money, whatever they got, It was poured back into the library, everything. It was poured back into the library. So all I'm saying, we was talking about supporting each other earlier at a previous meeting, supporting. You know, when times get rough, sometimes we have to support. They can go up to 1 meal. And I'm not saying it's $16. This is talking about a library that people was fighting for tooth and nail to make sure that it got back, it was open. She comes here every year, and we're giving her kudos on her presentation regarding the library. And I'm not saying that people don't get an explanation, then I think we can field those calls. I don't mind fielding them calls, because I think it's worth it for our community. So, I'm just saying, that's my take. If anybody else got to say anything, please do so, Mr. Wadsworth.
If I can just expand on what you talked about. This library was shut. The doors were locked. The utilities were about to be turned off. And we, as a council with the public, came to us, said they wanted a library. And this is what we did. And this library is one of the positive things for Romulus.
In our city.
That's a positive thing for Romulus. And I don't think it's necessary to try to turn this into some negative thing. Now, I know there's some people that are gonna say, you know, I don't go to the library, so I don't want, you know, pay the $14. But this is a positive thing for our town. There's nothing negative about that building.
Thank you.
Thank
Through the chair,
Ms. Abdo?
I agree with everything you said, but something else I want to point out. When I'm in the library, I see many adults there that come
Yeah.
there to use the internet because they
Yep.
can't afford the internet
That
at home.
part.
And I've also seen the librarians help them with stuff they need to do. You know, if they get stuck on the internet, they go right up and say, and help them out. So there's always a handful of adults there that need the internet to do whatever.
Jobs, copies, getting stuff over to employers, a whole bunch of stuff that is needed for this library.
Through the chair,
Yes, Mr.
just one quick comment, and I know there's ancillary benefits to having that library, and they have something where families could go, and we all pay taxes for police and fire, and hopefully we don't use them, but you have to have them in place, and I look at the library as that, so it's an essential part of the community. However, I agree with Councilman Wilhide in saying and I've talked to you, Patty, about this, we really need to look at Huron's lease. If it costs us $1.2 million annually to run that library, and they are about 20% of the business that goes through there, and we charge them $30,000 a year, good on Huron. Let them build a library, and we'll pay them 30 grand a year to use their library. I mean, what's next? We plow the roads for them too for 20 grand a year? I mean, where do we draw that line? Business is business. And they are getting extreme benefit out of having a great library. And we're looking at a possible $1.4 million debt over our head. Is Huron gonna pony up and help with that? Those are all questions I ask for council as a resident. So we just need to keep watching it. And Patty, again, if you're negotiating with Huron, I'll be more than happy to help or do whatever we can on our end.
We'd appreciate that.
But you got my full support of it because I think they should be anteing up.
Yes, they should.
Just my 2 cents.
And then another 2 cents for me too. We can't pick and choose stuff we're gonna support or not support when people are in a crisis. That's all I'm saying. I'm just gonna say that to the record right now. Just things we do in our city where we pick and choose, and when people need help, we do it, and other people we wanna do pushback. So for the record, I'm supporting the library, and if we can get something from here, I'm fine, but whether we do or not, this is a library, this is a place. We don't have a grocery store. This is a place where people can go and meet up. And, you know, a place where we can have some fellowship and, like we said, the amenities. So, again, we need to be consistent. We need to be consistent as a city on what we do and talk about supporting different entities in our community that needs help. Consistency. I'm done.
I'd like to say one more thing. Through
Mr.
the
Wilhide.
Through the chair. I'm taking a whipping today. I'm not against the library. I'm not, I think it's definitely a benefit. I have a library card. My thing is, it's hard for me to, being new, and I'm looking at it from fresh eyes, just, fair is fair. And you know, if we get,
Exactly.
stand by a second, stand by.
Exactly.
If we got an exorbitant amount of money from the county and we've used that, not preparing for if something happened and they said, hey, we gave you too much money for 10 years, you're gonna have to pay it back. Now, my whole thing is too, if they gave it to us too much money over 10 years, then they should give us 10 years to pay it back if we have to. I don't know what's gonna go on with that. But I'm just saying that fair is fair, and Huron Township should be picking up their end also. I don't have a problem with the library. How many employees do you have there?
13.
13 employees, okay? I'm not saying that I'm looking to cut anything. I want us to look at it realistically and,
Yeah, let's do that.
yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
How many times you been in the library?
How many times have
Yeah,
I been to the
how many
library?
times?
Through the Police, Fire, and Safety Commission, we use their facility to do the FEMA classes.
How often is that?
And my wife occasionally gets books out of there.
How often is that?
I have enough. How often is
you been to the
that?
library for the FEMA?
Since I've gotten elected, and I have to read this,
Mm-hmm.
not often.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Anybody else got any questions or comments? Okay. Dijon?
All right, so if there's no more discussion, number 4 is public comment. This is the portion of the agenda for those in the audience who would like to address the city council regarding tonight's special meeting agenda.
It looks like we don't have anybody for public comment, so let's close that out.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Number 5 is adjournment. The time is 6:36.
So moved.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, seconded by Mr. Jones for the adjournment of this meeting. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Wilhite?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned.
What's that?